I'm the type of person where I always thank God even for closed doors because he's trying to lead me to another path. And so the path that I am on or I was then pushed toward was actually academics and figuring out my purpose relative to sports. And that's how I ended up, I feel like, becoming an attorney, going to law school after meeting a great gentleman who used to work for IRS, and he used to look at me and he was like, "You're actually really smart. You should really think about going to law school." And I was like, "What? I'm smart?"
Hey everyone, thank you for joining us on this week's Tax Rep Network podcast. I'm Eric Green, by the way. I'm joined by my friend who's been here before, actually. It's been a couple of years, Beverly Winstead. Beverly is an attorney in Maryland. She runs the Low Income Taxpayer Clinic at the University of Maryland. I'm very excited because I just finished her book, Get Out of Tax Debt Now. Now I'm showing it to people on YouTube. If you're listening to this on the podcast channels, I'm holding up the book. I will put a link in the description below where you can go get a copy. I learned a lot about Beverly reading it. So, they always find, things you don't know. No, but I found out you're human. And so I thought you were Superwoman. Anyway, and what I like about this, Beverly, is you can tell that you teach students and the low income clinic. It is very clear, broken down in a very easy format to follow. It's always concerning because we've got they're over there, the real thick procedure stuff and all. This someone should be able to pick up and probably give it a couple hours after dinner, should be able to have a pretty good handle on what's going on.
Well, that was definitely the intent behind it. I wanted it to be short. I wanted it to be not too high level, but I wanted it to be informative.
And it is, and it's simple to read. But what I learned was how I struggled starting my business and your struggles at the beginning. And there are good lessons in there. And I think it helps you empathize with the folks that come in who do need help. So, just as some background, we were talking about this. You played basketball in college, athletic scholarship became an academic scholarship. See, I went to Hofstra to play football, got injured freshman year. I re injured my hip. And the doctor's like, look, can't force you to quit. Highly recommend you seriously consider retirement. And a very mediocre college football career came to an end. And I just focused on academics. But just as some background, what led you to where you are now, running the clinic, your own practice, in IRS representation of all things?
Yeah, so that's actually I love sharing this story. So I tell everybody I was a little girl growing up in the country. I'm just a country girl, even though I'm in this big city world.
Mhm.
And I think what just kind of led me here was just a series of events. And I graduated from high school, came up here on a basketball scholarship, had a very successful basketball career at Bowie State University. And then once I completed, I actually wanted to play professional basketball. That was like my dream, man. And when I was a little kid, I actually dreamt that I was going to be so good that I actually would play on the men's team. I would play in the NBA.
That'd be
Well,
impressive.
turns out I wasn't that good. I wasn't that great. So I went to after I graduated from college, I actually went to quite a few pro camps, and I actually did extremely well in the pro camps. But the lesson I learned out of still not being picked up is that you still need other people to vouch for you. So I could go and I could get MVP in all these camps and all the other stuff, but if I didn't have the backing of my college coach, no one still was going to take a risk on me, right? And so I had kinda done some things to, I think, kind of, damage a little bit of my relationship with my coach, in high school, but I just think it was because I was young, that's all. You're still trying to learn and figure out what it is that you wanna do. But, I think also that was God redirecting me. So I'm the type of person where I always thank God even for closed doors because he's trying to lead me to another path. And so the path that I am on or I was then push toward was actually academics and figuring out my purpose relative to sports, and that's how I ended up, I feel like, becoming an attorney, going to law school after meeting a great gentleman who used to work for IRS, and he used to look at me and he was like, "You're actually really smart. You should really think about going to law school." And I was like,
You're
"What?
not
I'm
as
smart?"
you're not
Oh,
as dumb
yeah.
as I thought.
Yeah.
I I actually, I had a mentor who was sort of the very similar, former IRS trial counsel.
Okay,
Um,
okay.
yeah, but no, but listen, your mentor was the former head of former head of CI. I mean,
Yes.
that's a pretty good mentor.
Yes, 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 yes. So he said, "Hey, we definitely need a lot more representation." And when he said representation, really black in persons of color, attorneys. And now I get it. And so yeah, I just kind of went to law school, University of Maryland, took a chance on me. I was so thankful. And now I'm back there teaching, and I also have my own practice also.
Right, and, what led you back to teaching? I teach a class every semester for Lisa up at the Yukon clinic. I actually covered the clinic when Diana Layden was going up on the bench. I actually taught the clinic for the summer. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy the students, but so you're out in practice, you go to law school, you go back out to practice. What led you back to running, the low-income clinic and going back to academia?
Well, some of it was no, I think when you come and you know this, Eric, because you play football, right? You come from a place where I think there's some inherent part of you that wants to be a coach or wants to teach and share your knowledge and wisdom with other people. So again, when the opportunity presented itself for me to teach, I actually thought I would only be teaching for a couple of years, and I enjoyed it so much, and I enjoyed it working with the students that I've been actually at the university for over 10 years now.
It's crazy how time flies.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no, we met through the ABA. In fact, actually, I think Caroline Cirolo actually introduced us. I'm trying to get Caroline on the podcast, but she's always too busy. Anyway, in terms of the book, what made you write the book?
So I wrote this book. So the main reason is because I remember, and I tell a little bit about my financial struggles
Yeah.
and some of the things that helped me to navigate when I owed a lot of money to for law school loans, as well as I was struggling trying to keep my house. I talk about my house going into foreclosure, and it was books, honestly, like Dave Ramsey and Sue Orsman that I needed at that time. And all the books that I read by them, they only had one chapter dealing with tax debt. And I said, that really doesn't, this, that does not give us justice. One chapter, you know? And so I wanted something along those lines where it was more like a self-help book. The other thing that helped me, was just I believe a lot in mindset because mindset actually helped me when I was really going through. I don't know if you know, I lost my brother, and I actually went into a state of depression, and so I had to really work on my mindset to be able to get back and to really get go back and be acclimated to society. And so I wanted a book that was a combination of mindset as well as just some basic informative tips about how to deal with tax debt.
The mindset is big. When I wrote, I had the $1,000,000 practice book. When I wrote that, I tried to be very honest and transparent about the struggles. And when I wrote it, I remember my wife, Dina, saying, "Are you sure you wanna publish this?" Because I know that everyone who's ever met me will know that it's totally sleek exterior, everything is perfect. No, it was kind of a shit show, quite frankly, building here, but, um, grit and determination adds up for a lot. Perseverance is omnipotent, as I think, now I'm gonna mind, but Calvin Coolidge said. I actually have the quote up on my wall.
Okay.
But no, it is a struggle. And I think what comes through with the book is that people who are struggling, there is a way out of this. You can get to the other side of this. It might suck getting there, but you can get through it. And that comes through loud and clear. And you do talk a lot about mindset, getting in the game, right? Because a lot of people do damage just putting their head in the sand and hoping it goes away. It won't.
Right.
Hint, hint. And No, I think it is great for people. And by the way, even for practitioners, if you're a CPA saying, well, it sounds like it's really for taxpayers. If you're reasonably new to this, or frankly, even if you've been doing this a while, it's a great way to communicate with your clients, because we have a tendency sometimes to get caught up in the techno tax geek language, and clients don't know what the hell you're talking about. And so
Right.
one of the things that I really like about it is it brings it down to, here's what you need to know, right?
Mhm.
Here's how it works. Here's how an audit works. I mean, you cover audit, you cover collections, you cover penalties, which are the topics that people mostly want to know about. And so, no, it's a great read. It is a quick read, and I love the Taxpayer Playbook for dealing with the IRS.
I had to do that because I'm a basketball player, so I'm still a basketball player at heart. But yeah, one of the things I also kind of talk about in the book is just, and the reason why I think it's a short read is because people I've learned through teaching, they don't like to read, right? Even my students here in law school.
It,
And I'm
this
just like, just read.
Yeah, this generation, my kids are like, "Yeah, I don't like to read." I have to tell you, that is, well, this is a whole different topic. TikTok and Instagram and YouTube, people, they've gotten used to digesting it in, like, 3-minute video clips.
Mhm, mhm,
And,
mhm,
I would urge anyone, everything you need to know is in a book.
mhm. Yep, it's true, it's true.
You sit down.
So, but even like, not only is it in a book, but if you just a lot of times, I will have a taxpayer that'll call me and just say, "Oh my god, they're so freaked out about the notice," and I'm like, "Well, what does the notice say?" Right? So even in the book, I just said, "Take time, take a deep breath, read the notice." That's gonna be your starting point, right? And then that way you will know a lot about deadlines. You'll know what you can expect maybe later if you miss a deadline. And that also hopefully will give you some insight as to whether or not you should reach out to someone who should be able to help you through this process.
Right. Including Beverly, by the way. I will put not only a link to the book in the description, but I'm also gonna put I will actually connect you know what? Actually, I'll give you Beverly's email. Reach out to Beverly. If you're in Maryland and wanna get to the clinic, obviously, she can help you there, but you help taxpayers all over.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, just like you.
Oh, yeah. No.
Absolutely.
Oh, no,
Yep.
I've referred people, especially if they're DC, Virginia, Maryland, they're like, "I like to talk to someone in person." Call Beverly. Here's her info.
Yep.
Yep, yep, and, no, you're doing a lot of good, both from the clinic, your own practice, as well as putting the information out. So,
Thank
uh,
you. Thank you.
no, it's wonderful, and listen, I know that I kinda caught you in the workday and you still have teaching to do, but thanks for taking even this short amount of time to help us with this, and everyone, get out of tax debt now. Again, I'll put the link in the description, pick up that, and honestly, something good you may wanna give to your clients, right?
Thanks, Eric. Yep.
Oh, listen, Beverly, thank you, and thanks everyone for listening in, and see you next week on the podcast.